Meeting of the Village Board of Trustees to order. It is 4:30 on Monday, April 7th. All members present. Welcome to our newly elected trustee, Michael Mentor.
Thank you.
I understand you have some business. Item number one or two is a resignation of Michael Mentor from the Zoning Board of Appeals. Thank you for, what's that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
You're absolutely right.
I was just like, I feel like.
I'm off too. We'll have trustee Mentor lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah.
Good catch, trustee Miller.
Something just got wrong.
So as discussed, Mr. Mentor has turned in his resignation for the Zoning Board of Appeals. We appreciate your willingness to serve.
Happy to do it.
Take a motion to approve the resignation of Michael Mentor from the Zoning Board of Appeals.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by trustee Joe, second.
I'll second Michael resigning.
Seconded by trustee Filomeno. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Mayor votes aye. And approval of the minutes of March 3rd, 2025 and March 17th, 2025.
You can't vote.
Yep, I've,
And
Okay, good.
there's one that I can't either.
Oh, is
Oh,
that the
there-
third?
I wish on the third, I think.
Okay, so we still have three.
Okay,
To say that would have been on sticky. situation.
so is there a motion on the floor to approve these minutes? As
I'll make
typed.
that motion.
Motion seconded by trustee Filomeno. All those in favor signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, say nay. Carries. So I'd like to open the public hearing for proposed local law number 1. 2025, chapter 213-13, water schedule of rates and charges. Everything goes up, unfortunately. Everything has gone up significantly in the world of water and chemicals required to treat it, as well as parts to keep the system running, as well as rates to keep people employed. So it went up 6% from 609 per 1,000 gallons to 646 per 1,000 gallons, up to 50,000 gallons, and 714 per 1,000 gallons over. That's inside the village. Outside of the village, it's 770 or 734, going up to 778 per 1,000, up to 50,000 gallons, and then 848 per 1,000 gallons over 50. So
You keep it
Uh,
open.
we'll keep that open. So now we move into, go to 4. Setting our standard work days. You have them in front of you. If you would like me to read them for the public, I can do that. Mayor Raymond Perry, 7 hours a day. Trustee Jose Filomeno, it says 6 hours a day. I doubt any of the trustees are going to be doing 6 following. Master Domenico, Miller, and Mentor, 6 hours is a standard workday. Clerk Julie Allen is 7 hours. Treasurer Danae Bach is 7 hours. Superintendent of Public Works Keith Lanfear is 8 hours. Get more hours than anybody. I'll take a motion to approve that resolution.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, sounded like there might be a
I can
second
second.
coming. Second by trustee Miller. All those in favors, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Mayor votes aye. Be it resolved that the regular meeting night for the Board of Trustees in the Village of Lake George will be the 3rd Monday of each month at 4:30 p.m. unless such date is a legal holiday, in which event the meeting will be rescheduled. And be it further resolved, as the board deems necessary, there will be a workshop meeting every first Monday of each month at 4:30 p.m. Take a motion to approve that resolution.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Seconded by trustee Filomeno. All those in favor, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Be it resolved that the official newspaper for the Village of Lake George shall be the Glens Falls Post Star. Motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by trustee Mentor. Is there a second?
It's okay.
Seconded by trustee Miller. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Mayor votes aye. Be it resolved that the Village of Lake George shall purchase a commercial crime insurance policy for the positions of clerk and treasurer in the amount of $90,000. And be it further resolved that the Village of Lake George shall purchase additional insurance for all other village employees in the amount of $20,000 each person. This insurance shall be renewed with other village insurance. Motion to approve.
Make that motion.
Motion by trustee Miller, second,
A second.
seconded by trustee Filomeno. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Be it resolved that TD Bank has been designated as bank of deposit for the Village of Lake George, and the use of Loomis, the armored car service, may continue if needed, and be it further resolved that Adirondack Trust Company, located on Canada Street in the Village of Lake George, will also be designated as a bank of deposit for the Village of Lake George. And be it resolved that Clerk Julie Allen, Treasurer Danae Bach are authorized on behalf of the Village of Lake George and in its name to sign checks, receipts, wire transfers for the payment or withdrawal of funds deposited in said checks or said accounts or deposited to the credit of the municipality, and the bank is hereby authorized to and directed to honor and pay any said such checks, receipts, wire transfers, or orders for the payment or withdrawal of funds deposited to the credit of the municipality when so signed. I'll take a motion to approve that. Oh, wait. Which is this still continuing?
No.
Okay, motion to approve.
Make that motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Mayor votes aye. Yeah, it is part of that one.
Yes, part of the.
Part of the resolution.
Yes.
Okay,
I thought you were asking if it was a second, a
Right.
second.
I thought it was going to be the way the numbers are spaced out here. Whereas the Board of Trustees has determined to pay a fixed rate for mileage as reimbursement to village officers and employees who use their personal automobiles while performing their official village duties. Now therefore be it resolved that the Village Board of Trustees will approve reimbursement to such officers and employees at the rate of 70 cents per mile. And I'll take a motion to approve that.
Make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Seconded by trustee Mentor. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. Now 11, NICOM rules over Robert's rules. The village board adopts the following conduct of meetings policy is the open meetings law by NICOM. And I'm not reading the whole thing because we'll be here all night. You have it in front of you. All those, or take a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second. Last and be me.
Okay, seconded by one of those two.
Allison,
It
he conceded.
was a buzzer beater. Okay, be it resolved that the policy for permitted absence from, oh, no. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed say nay. Mayor votes aye. Sorry about that. Got ahead of myself. Be it resolved that the policy for permitted absences from regularly scheduled meetings of the zoning board of appeals, the planning board, be as followed: 4 absences per year or 3 absences in a row, whichever comes first. Further absences from meeting shall be cause for removal from the board. Be it further resolved, the board members are required to attend a minimum of 6 hours of training at each calendar year to receive the village's stipend. Excess hours may be carried over into another year as credits. I'll take a motion to approve that.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by trustee Filomeno on the floor. Is there a
I'll
second?
second it.
Seconded by trustee Joe. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Mayor votes aye. So the next resolution is for the assignment of duties, I'll read through them quickly. Well, there's a lot.
Yeah, the yearly appointments.
Okay, the budget officer, Mayor Ray Perry, deputy mayor, trustee Master Domenico. Clerk is Julie Allen. Her term expires on 4/26 or 4 of 2026. Deputy clerk is Danae Bach. Treasurer is Danae Bach, her term expiring April of 2026. Deputy treasurer is Julie Allen. Records management officer is Julie Allen. Investment control officer is Danae Bach. Acting purchasing agent is Julie Allen. Registrar of Vital Statistics is Julie Allen. Deputy Registrar of Vital Statistics is Danae Bott. Sub-Deputy Registrar of Vital Statistics is Lori Bott. Village Board Minute Taker is Julie Allen. Incident Report Manager is Julie Allen. Director of Planning and Zoning is Dan Baruch. Village Attorneys Meyer and Fuller, PLLC. Water Commissioner, Trustee Mastro Domenico. Street Commissioner, Trustee Filomeno. Sanitation Commissioner, Trustee Mentor. Fire Commissioner, all trustees and the mayor. Parks and Recreation Commissioner is Trustee Miller. Public Safety and Fire Officers, Trustee Filomeno. Beautification Commissioner is Trustee Miller. Trees Commissioner, Trustee Miller. Buildings Commissioner, Trustee Mentor. Street Lighting, Trustee Mentor. Shared Services, Mayor Perry. Superintendent of Public Works, Keith Lanfear. Assistant to the Superintendent of Public Works, Tim Shutt. Handicap Discrimination Officer, Trustee Miller. ADA Coordinator, Keith Lanfear. Climate Smart Community Coordinator, Trustee Miller. Village Historian is Margaret Mannix. Payroll Clerk and Purchasing Clerk is Christine Bruno. Payroll Access Appeals Officer is Attorney Larry Paltrowitz. Our chaplain is Ally Trowbridge from the Caldwell Presbyterian Church. The Safety Officer is Tim Shutt. MBO Officer Tim Shutt. Title IV Coordinator Keith Lanfear. Sexual Harassment Officer is Trustee Mastro Domenico. Workplace Violence Prevention Program, Trustee Mastro Domenico. Pandemic Response Coordinator, Mayor Perry. Code Enforcement Officer, Jim Aganos. Gateway Council, Adirondack Gateway Council is Mayor Perry. Adirondack North Country Associates Representative is Trustee Mastro Domenico. Adirondack Glens Falls Transportation Council is Keith Lanfear. Fire Committee, Mayor Perry. Trustee Filomeno, Councilperson Nancy Stannard. Go Green Committee is Trustee Miller and Lori Bott. Greater Glens Falls Transit Advisory Commissioner is Raymond Perry. Personnel Committee, Mayor Perry, Chris Andrews, John Helms, Tim Shutt Jr., and Julie Allen. Safety Committee, Mayor Perry, Keith Lanfear, Tim Shutt, Julie Allen, and the Fire Chief, Chief Barber. Save Committee is Mayor Perry. Student Connection, Mayor Perry and Debonair Myers. Teen Center is Mayor Perry. Wood Park O&M Committee is Mayor Perry and Keith Lanfear. Our Planning Board, Carol Sullivan is the chairman, whose term expires in April of 2026. Patricia Dow is the vice chair, same expiration date. Dean Howland, Planning Board member, April of 2029 expiration. Kevin Murray, April of 2028. Walt Adams is April of 2024. We'll have to renew. We do not have an alternate at this time. Kieran Murray is the Zoning Board of Appeals chairman. His term expires April of 2028. Bob Labar is the vice chairman. His term expires April of 2027. Jeffrey Blau expired 4 of 2025, renewed to 4 of 2030. Michael Ravalli, his term expires 4 of 2029. We do need another permanent member, and we don't have an alternate at this time. Thanks a lot, Mike. So I will take a motion to approve those appointments. I know it was a lot, and I hope you kept up.
I'll make that motion.
There's a motion on the floor by Trustee Filomeno. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Trustee Mastro Domenico. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Mayor votes aye. Carries. So let's establish our holidays. Memorial Day this year is May 26, 2025. It's a Monday. Juneteenth is June 19th, 2025. It's a Thursday. Independence Day, July 4th is a Friday. Labor Day, September 1st is a Monday. I know, it's dangerous when it's on a Friday. We gotta start talking about that again too.
Yeah.
So don't let me forget. Columbus Day, October 13th is a Monday. Veterans Day, October 11th is a Tuesday. Thanksgiving. Oh, wait. did I
Oh,
miss-
yeah, it said, you had October, but it's November 11th.
I said no, okay. Thanksgiving is November 27th and 28th, which is Thursday and Friday. Christmas Day. We do Christmas Eve and Christmas Day here, what happens to be a Wednesday and Thursday. New Year's Day, New Year's Eve and New Year's Day is Wednesday and Thursday as well. Martin Luther King Day is January 19th, which is a Monday. And President's Day, February 26th, or February 16th, 2026 is a Monday. And everyone gets their birthday as a day off. Take a motion to approve our paid holidays.
Motion.
Okay, motion by trustee
I'll
Miller,
second it.
seconded by trustee Master Domenico. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. Let's see, can we do 15, 16, 17,
Yeah, we can do them all
18
together, I think.
in one? So 15, 16, 17, and 18 is Workplace Violence Prevention Program, the harassment policy and procedures for the village, the internet policy, and the cyber incident response policy. I'll take all four of those in one motion to approve.
Make that motion.
Motion by trustee Miller. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Seconded by trustee Filomeno. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Mayor votes aye. All right, number 19. Be it resolved that the Village of Lake George, or the Board of Trustees of the Village of Lake George hereby agrees to adopt a written investment policy as follows. The Chief Fiscal Officer, Treasurer Danae Bach, will be designated by the Village Board to be the person to make investment transactions with all village funds. Types of investments will be in the form of CDs, time deposit accounts, money market accounts, municipal cooperative agreements, NICLAS. Certificates of deposit may be purchased from the TD Bank and North America, Glens Falls National Bank and Trust Company, or Adirondack Trust Company. Time deposit accounts or money market accounts may be purchased from TD Bank, Glens Falls National, or Adirondack Trust Company. Treasurer will establish and maintain a system of controls, including record of descriptions and amounts of investment transaction dates, interest rates, maturities, etc. The record of investments will identify the fund, date of disposition, the interest amount realized. Competitive quotes from authorized banks will be sought for each investment. Sufficient pledged securities over $100,000 or an irrevocable eligible letter of credit may be used for collateration. Will be kept on file and reviewed semi-annually. Principal consideration will be given to ensure the investments will mature when cash is required to finance operations. That was a mouthful, and I will take a motion to approve it.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by trustee Joe,
I'll
second, seconded by trustee Mentor. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Mayor votes aye. Number 20 is to approve our procurement policy, which we see no changes to as it was last year after our increase to the $2,000 maximum before we have to go to bid. So I'll take a motion to approve our procurement policy as it stands.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by trustee Master Domenico. Second,
I'll second it.
seconded by trustee Filomeno. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Mayor votes aye. Number 21 is a resolution authorizing advance approval of claims between monthly audits such as our utility bills or recurring bills that we get every month, like our phone and the light bill, that it comes the day after our meeting. We're allowing our staff to pay the bills as they come in. So I'll take a motion to approve that.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by trustee Joe. Was there a second?
I'll second that.
Seconded by trustee Mentor. Second every time.
Don't really have a choice.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Now 22 back here. Okay. I'd like to close local law or propose local law number 1, chapter 213-13 water schedule of rates changes. If there are no questions from the public, and I'll have whoever makes the motion to declare a negative deck for seeker.
I'll make that motion
Okay,
and claim a negative deck and seeker.
okay. Is there a second? Seconded by trustee Miller. All those in favor say, I'll do a roll call vote. Trustee Mentor?
Aye.
Trustee Joe?
Aye.
Trustee Miller?
Aye.
Trustee Philomeno?
Aye.
Mayor votes aye. Okay, so let's open the public hearings of the 3 proposed village budgets, the general fund budget for June 1, 2025 through May 31st, 2026. Water fund budget of the same dates, the special assessment district budget for June 1st, 2025 through May 1st, 31st, 2026. And we return to the regular meeting. 25 is correspondence. We got a couple of letters. One's from the Community Homes and Renewal. We have been signified a pro-housing community, which is good for us because it allows the village to be eligible to apply for various discretionary funding programs. Up to $650 million in funding is available this year for this through the state and Housing, Homes and Community Renewal. The other was a nice letter that we don't get often, but they just wanted to say how much they liked the lights and the carnival this winter and the lumberjack competition and hoping for us to encourage the repeat of many of the successes of this year. We don't get a lot of attaboys, so it's nice to see them when they come in, so we added it to the agenda. So number 26, the IMED Vision Renewal of 2025. I don't know, did the price go up or
No changes in the employee costs.
no changes in the employee costs? Want to take these in a row let me take the last one separate.
I suggest do them all separately.
Okay, we'll do them all separate. So IMED Vision Renewal approval. I'll take a motion for that.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by trustee Joe. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by trustee Miller. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Mayor votes aye. Now, the vehicle bids for, get to that. For 25-26 budget. It is 2025 F-150 for $44,401.39. The winning bid on that one. What do we got? What's the next one? How many we getting?
There's water, DPW, and wastewater treatment.
Okay, and then the next one is 72,000 for an F-350. This one has a dump box on it, and a regular cab. And then 44,401 again for another Ford F-150 XL regular cab, 8-foot box.
When are we getting these?
They would have to, after the first of the new fiscal year.
Okay, so it's budgeted.
Yeah.
and then-
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
budgeted in the budget that we have in front of us tonight.
okay.
So I'll take a motion to approve those bids.
I'll make that motion to approve the bids. for the
Motion by-
vehicles.
Motion by trustee Joe, is there a second? Sorry, I was reading something at the same time.
Second.
Second by trustee Miller. All those in favor signify by saying aye
Aye.
and opposed say nay. Mayor votes aye. Through these. So we got some stuff sort of late. I don't think it was emailed you in your packets. But it is for us to declare lead agency on the bandstand for the Shepherd Park Environmental Assessment Forum. I think all we have to do is declare ourselves lead agency. Is that correct?
There's a few things on it.
I got some signatures. Here's the resolution. I got it. I'm sorry. Resolution of intent to establish lead agency. Whereas the Board of Trustees, here further, the Village of Lake George is currently undertaking a project for the reconstruction of the Shepherd Park Amphitheater, which was destroyed by fire in 2024. Whereas the project is an action as defined in the New York State Environmental Quality Review Act, also known as SECRA, which action the town, it should say village, shouldn't it? Which action the village board deemed to be an unlisted action to undergo coordinated event or coordinated review under SECR. And whereas a full environmental assessment form has been prepared, and whereas the board wishes to express its intent to act as lead agency pursuant to SECR and wishes to coordinate its review with the other involved agencies. Therefore, be it resolved by the board intends to serve as lead agency as defined in 6 NYCRR Part 617.2 for the purpose of conducting a coordinated review of the project and for issuing determination of significance under the New York State Environmental Quality Review Act. And be it resolved that the mayor or anyone acting in at his request are hereby authorized to issue notice of intention to the village board to act of the village board to act as lead agency and be forwarded with relevant materials to all involved agencies, and be it further resolved that this resolution shall take effect immediately. Take a motion to approve that.
Make that motion.
Motion by trustee Miller. Is there a second?
Second it.
Seconded by trustee Joe. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Mayor votes aye. Yes, so the just make sure we're not missing anything. Yeah, so I'll just sign this and return it to the attorney. Next on the list. Is that in here, or am I just gonna shoot from the hip on that?
There's not in there.
There's
yet.
not a resolution in there for that? Okay. So we need a resolution to move money from Adirondack Trust, which is the A826 fire reserves, to the general fund, A2262, and then into A3410 to pay for the chassis of the new ladder truck that's being constructed. This is the early payment that allows us to get I think it's an $18,000 discount on the price. So we just need to move those. And does that go into a permissive referendum?
Yes.
Less than
Yeah.
1%.
Yes. So yeah, that'll go into a permissive referendum for 30 days. I will take a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by trustee Filomeno. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by trustee Miller. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Mayor votes aye. All right, number 27 is a facility request for Wood Park. But Lake George DJ Takeover Music Festival. I would happen to be in the town occupancy tax meeting. And this guy had planned on an event in the Machio Barns, the barn down the road.
Wild West.
Wild West,
Yeah.
thank you, yeah. And something happened along the way and he's not there. Oh, you're here, right?
I'm here.
You're the guy. I only saw the back of you because I was sitting behind you, but come on up. You can come up if you'd like.
you.
Yeah, it's fine. Come on up. I just wanted to be able to have you give a little description like you did at the town. When you had it scheduled at the Wild West, right? Yeah,
They changed insurance carriers and so they're limiting the type of use to their insurance triple. That's the
okay,
short story.
okay,
So the approvals were basically weddings, line dancing and certain festivals that, may not book certain. So anyway,
yeah,
we've identified 3 potential locations, fortunately you guys being one of them. Which changes logistics for us, but it doesn't change the fact that are still in the town of Lake George.
Mhm.
And all the tax revenue stays there. Otherwise, we're gonna go Warrensburg or Queensburg.
Uh-huh.
Those are the three places.
Will you be needing our stage? Or do you have?
I know nothing about anything
Okay.
that we can have. In the planning process that we're going through right now, it's identify three places, get a yes from all three places, make the decision.
Okay,
Like all within the next couple days.
yeah,
Because we've already got, the other ones done. You guys wrote the last one. Thank you
Okay.
For getting us in here, not on the 16th. because
yeah, we tried, I knew it was, time was of the essence, so.
Here's them. So that's it. It's at least we get, yes, we can, although it's not legally official until, you guys do what you gotta do with that pay, obviously.
Mhm.
It's, can we have it there?
Yeah.
And then I have other specifics that I would, need to know as well. And I don't know who I work with on that, but,
Myself and Deb and I.
okay. So, cause I've never done it, I'm assuming it's everything within the fence.
Yes,
That's the property, right?
Mhm.
Okay, nothing can be used outside the fence, like,
in the, well, they call it the Westbrook lot, you could rent that as well from the county and.
that's across.
That's in the same side of the street, just the parking lot there. It would end up closing that whole street. That costs as much as the park. Yep, right here.
Because I'm not
Sure.
familiar.
It's right here,
The whole road.
the whole road.
Oh, the road.
Yeah,
There's two roads that parallel each other going up
Yeah,
there.
so the road that's going.
That's a
the
one-way.
one-way road,
That
which is
can be
closer to the
closed
park.
as
That
well.
can be,
It's got
yeah,
parking on the side as well.
Yeah, they only go one way though, but
Yeah.
they can close that road. I
that's
didn't-
some
not that I
people have
wanted, but
elected to do that in some of the larger festivals will use.
I don't think we're that large yet.
Yeah,
Okay. But like, we couldn't do a small tent behind the restroom, is what I'm saying, because that's outside the gate.
if you have a ticket, if you have a gated, if you're charging a fee to get in, that would,
That would be the free area,
yeah, you could do a
Which
free
we're-
area there.
which we're okay with, we
Mhm.
just, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Obviously, I read through again very quickly all the terms and conditions. I know we're way under the 60 days and everything else, so we have to act fast to get all this stuff done. Next question is on bar service. We have one caterer who is licensed caterer, obviously, same guy who's licensed the ranch.
Mhm.
Who would be doing the bar service and with multiple bars. We had planned on 3, so I kind
Yeah.
of want to keep that. That's.
That's fine. We just
still
have to get
one
a
permit.
30-day waiver from me.
Yeah.
And we'll sign that and do it as quick as possible.
Yeah, and then each vendor, each food service vendor, it's all food trucks, some of which may have, well, probably not worked there this year, but I think it's an annual fee that's gotta be.
They have a vendor fee, yeah,
50 per.
$50 per vendor's license, and it's good for a year.
Who ultimately do I work with on the logistics as far as like where the power is and stuff like that?
Myself and Keith Lanfear, John
Okay.
Helms, our DPW.
Okay. What other things should I be aware
I think you got it covered pretty much.
of? Does anyone have questions?
I have a question.
Yeah.
What does 10 PM STC mean? What that's your end time? I don't know what STC means on application.
Let's take a look.
Does it say anything?
It says 10 PM STC, so.
I've been going through a lot of crap the last.
Yeah.
I don't know what.
It means EST, like Eastern Standard Time.
Oh, no, 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 it probably was.
Estimated.
It probably was an abbreviation for something. So we know that 10 o'clock is a noise ordinance in Lake George. You can't go past 10 o'clock.
It's
Right.
11. It's 11.
It's 11.
Yeah,
New York State, right?
You're making me smile.
Outdoor music, it's 11. New York State.
outdoor music is
So-
11.
What we were planning on doing at the ranch, just, I've always thought it was 10 o'clock.
Mhm.
Is we were gonna shut down anything that was outside to end our barn facility at 10, the main stage is 10. Which we can still do. But then we have these other like tented areas where there's gonna be, DJs playing music, whatever. They were gonna go into, which would have been in our saloon at the ranch, they would have gone to.
Oh, to go inside, right? Yeah, I remember you
Yeah.
saying that at the meeting. All right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have any buildings down there that are really
The only-
capable of housing
No,
sound.
yeah, right. The stage, to kind of quasi answer your question, because I'm not completely sure what you mean, is Roger from High Peaks.
Mhm.
He's done many festivals there.
Mhm.
He's in Saratoga. We were thinking of renting one of his covered stages.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys don't own one.
We do.
You do.
We own a huge stage. What's it, 20? Stage line 260?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
it's,
stage line
it's-
260.
It's 30 plus.
Yeah, 30, over 30 feet. It looks like a tractor
Feet?
trailer in it.
Eight?
Fee,
Roughly?
we have to update that. I think there's a setup and takedown fee because our men do it. And then I think it's 1,500 a day.
Okay,
That's not bad.
no, and that's about what Roger's charging, I
Yeah.
would say. so.
This is the Cadillac of all stages, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, okay. All right, well, I didn't know that was an
Yeah.
option, because again,
Yep.
I'd never done this. And then I know I checked yes on a few of the other things, just because I wasn't sure what to check on the application, really.
Uh-huh.
I think garbage was one of them, and I mean, whatever the terms are, I'm not worried about that, but if there's anybody who has
Yeah.
a question, whether it wants. to-
Yeah, we have trash collection that we handle, as long as we can keep up with it and it doesn't overwhelm us and prevent us from collecting across the rest of the village.
Realistically, we're looking at 500 people currently. I don't see it going over 1,000. Is there potential for more? Absolutely.
Mhm.
Because you never know. People always buy tickets last minute, which we'll keep selling them obviously, because, up there, we were gonna kind of cap it. If we go to the other places, we have an open, they don't care. I'm like, because they want the revenue.
Sure.
I just don't think at this point, we're gonna see over 1,000.
Yeah.
Per day. And every ticket we've sold so far is a 2-day pass anyway, so we're really only selling weekend passes. The week before I may open up day passes, but.
Yeah.
And we'll take walk-ins, but it's not the kind of price that people is gonna want to go and pay $100.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's a niche market.
Mhm. And you have a following, obviously.
Well.
Or starting to get one.
The way we did this, yeah, I mean, the festival itself, yes, but the way we did this was we contracted with crews, or let's call it bands, if you want band, from different metropolitan areas around the tri-state area. In order to have them market an area to bring their people from Rochester, from New York City, from, wherever to tourism. It all became a tourism thing. It wasn't about throwing a big party for people in Lake George. It was about bringing people to the area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you say like DJ takeover, can you describe that for me?
So if you may have never been to a music festival, but, you look at festivals like really big ones would be like, Miami Music Week or EDC Vegas, EDC Miami, they're electronic dance music festivals.
Okay.
With those longstanding ones, tens of thousands of people, and,
Yeah.
they're on big festival grounds. Obviously, we're a little smaller here, only our third year. It's just DJs
Okay.
playing music and everyone's.
Are you planning on?
No bands,
So like
no.
electric music, but loud bass, I'm guessing.
It's basic, yeah.
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 That's my only concern with the 10 PM, the loud
It's the
bass,
noise ordinance, yeah.
that is like,
Don't
goes
you-
straight into the village.
Yeah, I'm looking at
Straight
the,
down the lake.
Straight up.
it usually goes straight up the lake, especially if you have like where the main stage is, that's going right toward the lake. And we can discuss the layout, but if you would be amenable to the stage being on this, here, I'll show you the picture. Or the way the park is designed is the stage, you see that little bump out
Yeah,
there, is designed to go into the woods.
Yeah,
I
I got you.
And then, I mean, you could do pretty much very similar layout, just shift it 90
Yeah, yeah.
90 degrees. If you'd be willing to do that, I'm pretty
I'm
sure.
willing to just about anything.
Okay.
I kind of had,
Because that way we take advantage of the landscape to act
Absorb.
as a sound
Yeah.
buffer and.
I did my
then-
layout based on other festivals. I've been to.
Yeah, yeah. And we've had that argument with a couple of them, like,
Yeah.
no, don't put the stage there, right, Keith?
Yeah, if you don't mind, saying that just, generally, whatever permit that you guys are gonna fill out, it is take in, take out garbage scenario. We control our bathroom house with the garbage, but the, promoter is responsible. We supply, vessels for the garbage and all that kind of stuff. But you guys would be in charge of taking care of the.
Which is what we were gonna do up there anyway.
Okay.
We were gonna have,
Just so that they're aware.
we have a dumpster at the ranch, but, we were gonna bring in a dump trailer and have it emptied every day. Yeah,
Yeah, just so that you're aware.
that can be taken to the noise land when you go.
Well, the town landfill, yeah, Yep.
Station?
transfer
Yeah,
station.
it's open on Saturdays.
Yeah, that time you go.
Yep.
That's the time of year.
It's May.
Yeah, because if it goes Friday, it needs to be empty Saturday morning, yeah. All right, thank you.
Okay.
Other questions?
I don't think so. Anybody have any other questions?
We put in just one main stage.
We're planning on, there was always been one main stage, yeah, and then we have these off stages, which now are gonna be tents.
So the indoor, each aux stage is a tented,
It's a small
indoor.
tent, yeah, 20
beautiful,
by
that's cool.
20 type thing. Just because it's different, there's different music.
It spreads people out, people, yeah, I've been
Yeah.
to similar events.
Yeah. And our, one of our thoughts, just kind of forward thinking here was that, you know, we originally had I think we had 9 music areas planned. Now we're down to 7. Those are the ones I have to work on. Not saying we need them all. But so we were I was working with one of the architects today on our team, trying to figure out, you know, where's gonna work what with the least bleed and everything else. Because we want the experience to be good for people who are there. So one main stage, and then if I find out we can do it at the park, then I have to have a conversation with a couple of the other business owners who own buildings in that area, because
Mhm.
there's revenue for them potentially, and we might be able to move a DJ team up to one of those buildings.
Oh, neat.
Even DJs being one of them. I know it's gonna be a different scenario, but you know, if Debbie wants to take a stage, it won't cost anything. I just wanna try to make all the 7 groups of people
The
happy.
other side,
Yeah.
At this
Yeah.
point, I'm like, I'm rolling and swimming. We have 22 from the county, which, I mean, I know it's, that tax money comes later, but that was granted to us. Thankful for that. So we've spent around 25 so far. I haven't spent another penny until when I count, so I haven't spent any more money until I know where we're going.
Yeah.
And the town gave us, were awarded us 15.
Mhm.
You know, obviously we have to spend it, but.
Yeah.
So we're really hoping to keep it in Lake George.
Yeah, we hope, I'd like to see it stay in Lake George too. I was curious when you were describing it, when it was at the town occupancy tax meeting, and it sounded like a neat,
It would have.
but we
been
don't have any
phenomenal
EDM
event. It's-
festivals.
Yeah, there's, unfortunately, there's just no space like the ranch that has all these little multiple indoor
Mhm.
rooms.
Yeah.
That, you know, there's just nothing other than a strip mall. There's just nothing like it. But insurance,
Yeah, there was another event that had a lot of struggles with the way insurance has tripled this year, and
it's ridiculous. And, yeah, so we lost, there was 3 festivals that got denied. So
well,
I'm trying to find them locations too, but
take a motion to approve this event if the village board is willing.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by trustee Mentor. Is there a second?
Second it.
Seconded by trustee Joe. All those in favor of approving the Lake George DJ Takeover Music Festival, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Mayor votes aye.
so what would the next step be? If you don't mind me asking.
Well, I guess obviously you gotta make your determination as to where you want to go. You're
Assuming-
approved
assuming
to.
we're
Yep.
Good. I
Mhm.
gotta come back
You
up here.
come, yeah, there's a deposit that is required before it can go and lock the dates in,
Yes.
which is,
Insurance.
and your insurance certificates.
That's easy.
But I would just let you know, the deposit to the county is not refundable. It's $500. That's not refundable. So if
Yeah.
you change your mind,
No,
they're gonna say,
no, once I
No
commit,
geek.
I'm committing,
okay,
write the check, we're.
good.
So I can come back and handle that.
Yeah, right at
I don't
during
need
business
to-
hours. Yeah, between 8 and 4:30 or 8:30 and 4
And then
upstairs.
the person up there can kind of direct me.
Yep, Deb will help you.
Connect with who I'm probably gonna wanna do a site visit with someone
Mhm.
just to get some.
Yeah, and I can do a site visit with you too.
Okay. All right,
All right,
thank you.
thank you. Good luck.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
Take care.
All right, some training. SUNY Morrisville activated sledge course. That sounds like a winner. Alex Colpus, Jamie Ruggiero, $600 each for the class and $500 for the hotel. This is another step toward becoming operators, correct? And another one for Alex and Jamie at SUNY Morrisville, the basic laboratory procedures, July 28th to August 1st. $650 each for classes and $470 for the hotel. Take a motion to approve those training courses.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by trustee Joe. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Seconded by trustee Filomeno. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Take a motion to approve the transfers and audits. as we finalize our meeting here.
Make that motion.
Motion by trustee Miller. Is there a second? Seconded by trustee Philomeno. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Mayor votes aye. I'd like to set the meeting for the end of year meeting, May 27th. It's a little bit earlier in the week, but we're gonna be at NICOM training, the 28th, 29th, and 30th. So it'd be a quick, should be a pretty quick meeting.
Basically to approve last minute
Last
payment,
minute.
to make sure that we've paid everything that we possibly can for the month.
We close our books for the end of the year. That's pretty good, right?
I know, so it's a Tuesday, I'm trying, I think so. I don't think I'm working, so.
Certain time of day works good for everybody.
Ooh.
And yeah, what
It's all
time?
the same.
That's the,
It's all the same.
Either I do really early in the morning or after hours, like 4:30 for me to be there on Tuesday. So either like 8 or 4:30, but then I guess, yeah, that's for me.
Yeah,
I can try and make it work though, either way.
okay. So do we want to try for 8 in the morning, or do you want to just have it at a just like mid-morning, something like that, where it's easier for the office staff?
How long do you think?
It's a quick thing,
Yeah.
really just approving any transfers last.
last minute.
last
kind
minute
of
stuff
like,
to
oh my
close
gosh,
our
we have to
books.
do this before the end of the.
Sorry?
I know you're busy. It's
about a half hour.
It's for me, earlier in the morning is probably easier. By 4 o'clock, stuff could be breaking.
Yeah.
We can do
Say
8.
About
Let's
8
do it.
o'clock. yeah.
Yeah, let's do 8.
That's on the 27th.
Yes. May
27th.
meeting.
Do we have? I guess I have it on my email. The answers to the questions.
You want to have my copy here?
Okay.
I'll just have to keep the question.
Yeah, I was gonna, did you get a chance to review you had a bunch of questions, Allison, on the budget?
Yeah, I did go through and review it briefly. I just got it, so then I feel like I need more time with it, but we're not voting on the budget today. We're all just gonna sit and chat about it together, correct?
We don't have to vote on it today, no. We
Um,
could if we wanted to, but we don't have to.
The one thing I did talk to Judy,
I just want to mention,
go.
there's public hearing books here, if anybody wants one. That of the
The
budget.
budget.
Of the
The
budget.
budget, there's copies. on the desk, if anybody wants a copy.
Okay, sorry.
Thank you.
That's okay.
Oh.
In beautification, when I was talking to Judy, she did feel like maybe she under budgeted. And so I'm wondering if we could maybe find somewhere where we could shift and give her like $2,000 more specifically for like replacing perennials, especially if she's gonna have to start putting some like around trees, the base of trees as grades get taken away.
We can always transfer from shade trees.
She will probably need that whole amount in shade trees, because they're gonna be, she wants to replace quite a few trees that are, not doing well, and she said even in the back streets, you know, there are trees that we own that we should be looking at
There's also money in this year's budget, just, you know.
for her to do
There's
that.
still
For her
quite a
to-
bit of
How
money
much
in
does she have
shade
left
trees.
over?
She had like, I want to say there was like.
20,000 in shade trees
I
that she
think there
hasn't
was
used
like
yet. this year.
18, I think there was
Okay.
18 left at this point.
So if I have her purchase things quickly, then, all right, I'll tell her that then.
I would like it done as soon as possible. We're getting to the end of the year.
Give me what as soon as possible means.
In the
Wow.
next-
April 15th.
Tomorrow.
Next day.
Well, right now we're into April. Our budget will end. No more purchases after probably May 30th. How long? If it's gonna take her 2 weeks to get her order, I would say this week,
Okay.
next
so-
week. She must have an idea, and know what she wants to get.
She does have an idea, but I
Okay.
think it might not be as simple as, like, if we have to go through like getting quotes or anything of that nature, it might not be simple, so that's why I wanna make.
Who do we generally use for that? Hewitt's?
We-
It depends.
We go to bid for the flowers every year,
Yeah.
but she uses, I think it's
Garden Time.
Bill's trees and, was that Bob's trees? That's
Bob's
it.
trees.
Yeah,
Bob, yeah.
Bill, Bob, Joe.
It's
Right.
under the $20,000 limit. I just need 3 quotes.
Okay,
Okay, that's what I was.
so 3 quotes.
Yeah.
We need it.
Well, she doesn't have 20,000 to
What,
spend.
Right,
what is,
makes
that's
me doubt.
what I'm like, wait a minute, I don't think
Said
there's
under-
20,000
under
left.
Under
there,
20.
so.
Up, above 20 or under 20?
It's under 20.
Under 20,
So
we,
does she need?
She only has 18,000. Yes, she does need 3
She needs
quotes.
3 quotes.
Unless
Yeah.
it depends on how much she buys. If she's buying less than 2,000, then she does not need 3 quotes.
Okay, so I'll chat with her about it, then if we've got that, and then if she feels it's not doable, then we might have to look at something in this budget.
And we're trying to close it out on the 26th, all right?
we,
Payments?
Yeah, that's what the 27th is. We want to have it.
yeah,
We wanna
that's,
have
no,
it.
we gotta, vote for the budget on the 21st because it has to be in by May 1st.
Right, but no, but if you purchase anything out of this year,
Yeah, we'll know about it by then. We can,
yeah, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
So you don't have until the 30th.
Mhm.
We want to try to close everything purchasing this year at the 27th.
So the final build is the 27th, budget votes 21st.
And then I
That's for next
do,
year.
I feel like I've heard a lot of questions, and I wonder if we could just explain it so that people could hear as to why the village's overall, taxable assessment went down.
Oh, that's because the carriage house, it actually went up. I know it reflects going down 11 million dollars, but the carriage house is worth 13 million and we're not, yeah, that's off the tax roll.
Okay,
That's the pilot program.
okay,
So our assessment went up a couple million.
okay,
So that's why it reflects that it looks like it went down 11 million. It actually went up a couple, but down 13
because of.
because of the pilot
the
program.
Lakers
for that.
pilot
Yeah.
program. Okay. I think. I'm also wondering, I don't know, we had said in the snow removal, the contractual is mainly for salt. And,
Yes.
but is Brian free through the town?
Brian is.
Brian is.
But-
So how much salt do we normally use versus Brine being like the lakeside community? Like, I'm wondering.
We
if
use
can
much
drop-
less salt, but we have a minimum that we have to buy in order to stay in the buying program.
Okay,
And we've usually been at the minimum. We have not run out of salt in,
No, not.
I know I can't remember the last time we ran out of salt, but
Mother Nature, you know.
yeah, well, this past winter.
This year was
a-
good.
It was a tough winter, for sure.
do we know what the minimum is?
I imagine Keith knows.
Yeah, it's in the state contract.
30,
It's
30 ton?
so many tons.
yeah. it's
Yeah,
30
there's a buy-in of,
30,000
you have to agree to buy so many tons per
30
year.
tons,
30 tons.
30 tons.
That might be per purchase. I think it's more than 30 tons in the state contract. Every time we purchase, just, you know, it holds 70 tons.
Mhm.
And every time we purchase, we buy 40 tons. And we generally do that 3 to 4 times a year.
Okay,
And I think it was last year we actually had to go in, even though we just barely had enough room to fit it, we had to in order to stay in the program, buy additional salt, which we ended up, thank goodness, having because this year was actually a lot more salt than normal.
so then, do you guys feel like we need 34,000 in that? If
It's-
2024, we only did 16. I'm
As
just
of,
looking for.
as of
clarification.
December.
What's your account number?
I'm at 85142. Sorry, guys. if I
That's
missed
okay.
it.
I just want to, I want to show you.
Yeah,
this.
show me.
Let's see, so year to date actually spent as of today
15.
is 15,172.
And we won't really need any more than that, right, this year, because, I mean, unless
Well,
there's another snow.
November, December.
Yeah, when you
But
get,
that's the next year. So this year, we've only done 15,000. So are we feeling?
Right, because we were able to buy in. We had to buy.
We bought it
extra
at the end of
beginning
last
the
year.
We had to buy in order to get into this year's program.
This calendar.
So we've
excuse me.
started out really full.
Right, so what I'm saying is that we're budgeting 34, but this year we've only needed to spend 15.
Are
So
we
could we
full up
lower
right
it?
now?
We could probably take a look. Yeah. Double check the time.
Because that's the thing, we want to start out the season with it in there because like, for instance, what we ran into this year was there was a delay
You couldn't get
in
anything.
getting it. Almost week, it was like 3 weeks, and you know how that,
Commercially for businesses, we
Snowstorms don't-
couldn't get it.
Nobody could get it.
Remember the 64, it's only based on the 34. The 64 includes the personnel service too.
No, yeah, oh no, I'm just.
it
going
also
straight
includes,
forward.
so that you know, anything like, repairs to the maintenance or maintenance to the equipment that we use in that department. And so if the brine vehicle breaks down or needs tires or whatever, that generally comes out of that.
Spreaders break down.
I'm just looking for
everything.
places to save.
Yeah.
I don't wanna like over budget things, so that's why I'm. What if everyone is feeling that that's.
I don't
one of
think we want to
those-
get caught on the other side of
I don't
it.
want, yeah, we don't want to get caught short and not.
We
have
live in a
enough.
winter place. We can get real winters.
Because people are depending on us to make the road safe, you know, and we get an ice storm like the one we had, which like 4 inches of ice on my driveway for about 6 weeks.
It's just unpredictable.
Yeah, I'd rather be safe than sorry on that.
Okay.
And what we don't spend goes back into the
The fund.
fund balance, so
Salt doesn't go bad either.
it does not. Does in the bags. It's
It's
hard.
rock solid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep it dry.
What else you got?
Well,
down the list.
everyone answered the questions, but I. does
Well, yeah,
anyone
no,
else
I
have
just-
questions? No?
Yeah, they had some good questions. They were, a lot of them, some of them were an easy lift to answer. But some of them, they're thoughtful, good questions.
Appreciate that.
Um,
I would like to tip my hat to Julie and Danae for their going over the budget ad nauseum and really pulling things together this year with rising costs that we're seeing on the street and in the grocery stores, and to be able to minimally raise the taxes in a responsible level, I think is good on them. And thank you for your help with that.
Is there a way also like with that, cause I think the one part that maybe I would love just some clarification on too is. The occupancy tax, there's the 550, but then we don't have the 35 in the revenues. I don't know if that could knock out.
Well, the 35 is for, I think it's 6410.
Yeah, A 6292
Oh, 6292.
and. Oh, wait, is that changed?
No, that's
A
student
6410, you're right.
6410.
0.1.
Yeah.
35 is there, then when I go into our revenues at A 1113, we're at 550, but this is 585 here. Should we be upping this to 585 in the revenues?
Well, part of it is now, no, we wouldn't, what
wouldn't.
was the other one? A,
A 113.
no, I don't think we would want to, because the 35 is a pass-through to pay, the staff at the at Wood Park. That's not the 35 we're talking about for the, assistant and the DPW overtime and mine. That's for something else. You have it listed here, don't you?
Well, I'm just wondering, because if it's occupancy tax, like we're saying we're spending it, but then it's coming from Warren County, doesn't it go into our revenues to offset the budget? Am I thinking about that wrong?
DPW overtime associated with events. Historically, we've put the funds directly into the DPW account. By putting it into OCTAX expenses, we are separating it and therefore better able to track the costs associated with events. So we're trying to nail down what we're spending there
No,
on that.
I get that. I'm saying, are we accounting for it in the revenues though? Because it's 35,000 coming in from occupancy taxes. We're accounting for county occupancy tax of 550. But we aren't accounting for the occupancy tax funds personal services. Because we're saying that's an extra 35 somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
Doesn't that come out of the, looking for Wood Park?
Is it in like a wood park? Because we've got.
County Beach,
You've got County Wood
That's
Park
Beach
is
Road.
20.
2379. in your revenues.
2379,
Yes, County. Wood
County
Park.
Wood Park.
That takes into consideration, you know, what we bill out to Wood Park is 2379. Any sprinkler heads, any miscellaneous stuff, any labor, anything.
Mhm.
But we have to pay out any overtime, any things like that.
Oh, no, I'm not saying that we're not, but I'm saying that it seems like it's coming out of occupancy tax. So
But
if
that's
we don't,
okay.
no, I know it's okay. I'm saying, but it's 550 here.
Mhm.
So we're not saying it's coming out. If we don't apply 35 here, then it's not coming from occupancy tax, right? It's coming from. tax
No,
bill.
that's not necessarily true. I mean, you can see here that it was like 550, but yet we got we had 350 projected, we got 322. We can't take the budget and every expense match every revenue. We will never be able to balance a budget that way.
Mhm.
Do you see what I'm saying? We do that with like the contracts, like the fire contracts, things like that. We don't have, I think, well, I haven't seen yet anything definite on what the county is gonna give us on OCTAX.
Mhm.
You know how it varies, it fluctuates, it's, okay, no, this gentleman that was here has been promised OCTAX. That was just talking about his event. If that falls through, he doesn't get that OCTAX. Where's that gonna go? You know what I mean?
And the reason it's
I think it's-
higher this year, we put it at 550 is because we have that rollover I was telling you about
Yeah.
that's built up
Yeah.
and we wanna buy security cameras
Exactly.
and keep the streets safer, but that's why that's inflated. We're not expecting to get that much from the county, but we're.
Right. We do have a rollover from the county that we need to find the expenses for, I guess is what I want to say. But we don't want everything matched, like the fire company can match. There's certain things you know are gonna be a pass through. And they're gonna be there. But as far as the OCTAX goes, I think the OCTAX is a projection of revenue and a projection of expenses based off maybe applications, based off maybe conversations, things like that. If that helps. I mean, if you want it to match, that's a board and a
You can
mayor.
Make it match. It doesn't matter. to me.
It really doesn't matter, but you gotta find somewhere else to remove or add, so your budget's gonna balance. Do you want to take the difference out of,
So is our tax, like the 5 per thousand is set, that can't change if we are looking at places.
That
where we're
is-
like, hey, this could be in here.
that is the max that you can go to be under your tax cap.
The tax cap's 2%.
Yeah.
We're at 1.42,
Yes.
1.4.
You cannot go any higher than that. You can go lower than that. It would just take an adjustment with the tax cap at this point. Because it has to be filed, obviously, before your public hearing. They want to make sure that you're gonna be under. So I filed it on March 21st.
So we can't really sit here and look for ways to try to be able to lower the tax rate right now, is what we're saying.
I don't think it would be responsible to lower the tax rate.
Mhm.
You can't go higher than the.
No,
tax
I'm not gonna
rate.
go any
Yeah.
higher, but I don't think it would be responsible to take away from anything that it's not it's a crystal ball. We don't really have a crystal ball. This is a good, and we trimmed some things up. I don't feel comfortable taking anything else away from this. I mean,
There's a lot of-
$3,000 is not gonna make a difference on a $13 million budget.
It's 35,000.
But I know, I'm saying, but there was the first question you asked was about a $3,000 spend.
Well,
But
I
I'm-
was looking for Judy as far as like getting more money for her.
Mhm.
and everything
Oh, well,
else, but it's like,
she'll
you know,
have-
If we don't really spend it here, could we bring it somewhere else that doesn't work enough, right?
Yeah.
This is a public hearing.
You told me it was a workshop. That's fine.
Yeah.
So,
But we have it's a public hearing, but we have the option to adjourn without
Mm.
voting on the budget. Did you want to go over any of the other questions that you had? I have this printed out if you want to look at it.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I can go- let me take it. Does anyone else have questions while I'm going through this then? So I don't feel like everyone's slowly waiting for me to ask questions.
No, I'm good.
The water rate goes up the same for the Caldwell district. That's part of the prescribed,
And it's the same percentage.
Got it.
The water rate is more expensive in the Caldwell.
but it goes up by the same
But it's
six.
going up at the same amount,
Okay.
15%.
That was my one question.
Has our fund balance gone up every single year? Or has it gone down? What's our thoughts on that?
Well, it's gone up each year fairly. Recently that I've been here, it's been up, the 2 years that I've. And it's gone up every year.
Mhm.
Danae could answer the rest.
I'd have to look through the history of it. I do, a history sheet in the budget every year of our tax rates and our increases, things like that. That would tell you
Mhm.
if it would go up or stay the same.
I'm unsure if this year anything can be done, but if this year our fund balance goes up again, I think I would like us to say next year that we can use more of that fund balance to offset the taxes. It seems like it's considerably higher than maybe it should be. And so offsetting taxes, if it's going up again, like this year, if we notice the fund balance has gone up again, why not?
I was actually thinking that, and we can discuss it as a board, taking on, one of the projects that we have not been successful in getting funded for, such as the septic receiving at the wastewater treatment plant. It's a $3.9 million project that we might have to. We're going for congressional discretionary funding
Mhm.
through CDS right now. If we don't get it, that'd be the third time it was declined from Congress alone and the second time from WQIP. So obviously it's not sexy enough to fund. So I think it's necessary to make the wastewater treatment run in the most efficient manner, lucrative enough so that we don't have to stop people from bringing the haulers, from bringing their trucks, which will increase our revenue, which actually helps the town's revenue because we share it with them.
Mhm.
I'm thinking that might be a good use of funds. We do have a decent amount of money.
Okay, so we're
But there
saying-
is no limit on a village for what they can have.
No, you're right. So we're thinking we're gonna need 4 million of that.
I'm thinking if we could even get half of the funding, then I would go ahead and I would be fine with us doing the project and getting it done because it needs to be done.
In the
Right, Tim?
summer, there's a line there.
There's a line,
Yeah.
we can only take 14,000 gallons a day.
Mhm.
Or else the plant doesn't work right. So, it's unfortunate that design happened that way. It predates all of us and none of us are engineers, so. That's just, it is what it is, and it would be so much more lucrative and so much better for the benefit of the Lake George Basin. By taking the septic responsibly and treating it,
And
in
there's
the
probably a
same way.
few infrastructure improvement projects that could use that kind of money.
Yeah,
that
and we
would
have a lot of
benefit
infrastructure
everybody.
improvement projects. So we got water lines, Keith. Correct me if I'm wrong. We need several multi-station valves throughout the village. I think we spend it on our infrastructure
Okay.
rather than keeping taxes low.
So
I mean, we gotta keep taxes low anyway, but that's just the responsible thing to do. But you can't go 3 years in a row without raising taxes and expect to fund your thing. Cause then when something breaks and you don't have the money for it.
Right.
It'll save us money on the back end too, expense wise, with some of the more efficient systems,
Mhm.
I would think.
Well, it'll, yeah, this particular project at the wastewater treatment plant will make the plant run better, more efficient. Give the septic a chance to equalize, remove the grit initially from it, so we don't have to.
And
Clog up.
taking,
It's
and
got a
taking
lot
more in a
to it.
day, there's revenue
Taking-
associated with it.
And with the septic inspection program
Mhm.
not ceasing for another 4 years, I think, it would allow us to do the community a service, even if it's not Lake George, if it's Queensbury, and it's just,
I mean, it's
it's
gonna
not
go
supposed
up.
to remove water from the basin anyway.
Mhm.
But I think that's, in my opinion, where extra money should go, is put our money where our mouth is and fix our infrastructure.
Mhm.
Which is what the money's designed for, if something's needed.
Does anyone else have any questions? Or I'll just leave through me to like.
Oh,
Well, I think
I-
Lisa had
the
something
question-
she wanted
your
to say.
questions were helpful.
Like, hey, guys, anyone?
Your questions were helpful.
I think
You're questioning up to the public?
I'm opening up to you.
Okay,
The public.
I have a question about the occupancy tax. Now, any occupancy tax that shows up in the village budget, because I was told that any revenues that shows up in our budget, town budget, is the taxpayers' money, whether it be occupancy tax or anything else. Does the village view the occupancy tax as the taxpayers' money?
I believe,
Especially if it is encumbered, if it's going to be used for something, not projections. I mean, monies that are there.
well, the design of the money is not to be spent in, there's guidelines on how you spend it. So it's sure, it's everyone's money, but you can only spend it on certain things.
But is.
No, I don't think so. It's a
Shows up
taxpayer's
in the
money.
Budget, would it not be the village's money then?
No. It's it's there, it's
There's
designed to
guardrails.
replicate itself. So no, it's not,
I think
you're
that's-
splitting hairs there.
That's your opinion, right? The other thing is, I did send you an email today, was wondering if you want to address that email. tonight.
That's why I called on you.
Yes, well, I have other.
I didn't print it
questions,
out,
too.
so I wanted to,
I have other questions. No, that's the only other question I have.
oh, you want to talk about the raise to the salary of
Yeah.
the mayor that is supported from Octax.
I was wondering if you were going to talk.
Yeah, the way we got to where we are, the 35,000 that is contractually agreed upon between the town, the village and the county. There's 15,000 from the village, 15,000 from the county and 5 from the town.
Occupancy tax.
Used from occupancy tax to support the operations of Wood Park. Former Mayor Blaze, we created a position for him to do it under the guise that when he retired, it was going to be my responsibility to do it. The way it was written was not by our attorney, not by Attorney Fuller, written and agreed to by the town and county, was that it would be an employee. Well, I cannot be an employee. We've covered this ground several times, but I cannot be an employee. So we have the balance of from December 31st of the 35,000 per year. It renews next April of 2026, the 3-year contract with the county and the town. It's an intermunicipal agreement. We've agreed that any raise that would be given to the mayor is better off if it's not coming off the backs of the taxpayers, and the county wants me to take up where Bob left off. It's in writing. I could provide that for you. From Administrator Taflin. He assumed that it was going to be you taking over, let Bob retire and enjoy his retirement. I didn't want to take all 35,000 of it. I figured we'd save the taxpayers a raise for my assistant with the special events, Debonair, give her $5,000 raise because she earns it and she deserves it, and reserve $5,000 for DPW overtime, because while we support the events at Wood Park, it's nicer to be paid for the overtime out of the occupancy tax rather than, and you can do it because it's contractually agreed upon. It's in the guidelines that you have a copy of if you need. So, yeah, I mean, it's a 40-hour a week job, 30 or 34, 35-hour a week job. I devote at any given time 40 to 60 hours a week.
So what my premise to you was, and I don't want, first of all, people have come to me and asked.
Of course they have. You're very approachable.
You know that happens. You know that happens to me. So I'm the one who's got to ask the tough questions.
Mhm.
But the premise of my email to you was not about the fact that you deserve to make a living. It was about the ethics of raising one's salary, while in 2 years we'll have raised it $35,000. And the ethics of.
I didn't raise it. The village board raised it 10,000 last year. I didn't vote on that.
So the idea that your salary has been raised in a job in which you knew when you came into it,
You gonna go back to that again? You knew?
No, it's just
knew?
that that's the ethical rule. So if an attorney was gonna look at this, if they would look at that. What's the ethics behind it?
Mhm.
By the way, did you know that Devaney Myers put in a resume to the town of Lake George?
I did. Did she do it today?
That-
That's, what's that got to do with anything? That
Well, you
could,
talked about-
people are
I
replaceable.
granted Devaney, she's looking for a job.
No, she'll take a haircut over there.
But this,
What's,
My
what are we talking about?
I just have a question. So it's the 25,000, it's the contract with the town, Warren County and us.
Mhm.
And then that contract ends when?
April of 2026.
So this would not be in next year's budget.
Not unless the
It might not
contract
be
is gonna
if the
be
county doesn't vote
The
on it,
county
approve
doesn't
it.
voted in. It doesn't, that's what I'm getting at, is it's not coming from the taxpayers. It's not
Mhm.
establishing that. If the county doesn't renew the contract, that 25,000 goes away. Actually, the 35,000 goes away.
So it's, I guess it's realistically like, we're not raising the salary of the mayor per se, it's just you specifically this year.
Correct.
Because of.
A good trial run
only-
on that. And if it goes well, I assume the county would vote in favor of it again.
Right, so but there's no guarantee that it'll be next year or the year after that. This is really just for this year with you.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I mean, this is a request, at the request of the county I mean, I serve on the Park O and M committee. Administrator Taflin said I assumed that this was how it was gonna work. I didn't realize that, and our attorney pointed it out on the IMA, that he had to do an amendment, so he sent an amendment to them to approve. And that's kind of underway now.
Mhm. I can see like where Marissa's coming from as far as we don't get into office and then continue to increase our salary.
You mean, the 27th amendment? That's for,
Was it 27th?
27th amendment is for senators and congressmen specifically. It doesn't mention the village of Lake George in the 27th amendment. If you need me to defend it again, I mean, I'll continue to defend it until I'm blue in the face. I mean, I'm 52 years old. The only way you're gonna get someone that can afford a $50,000 a year salary and do this job for some days, some weeks, 60 hours a week, you need to have someone who's drawing a pension already.
Which the
That
old mayor
to make a
was.
living. You know what, when the,
But
when,
Previous
Yeah,
mayor
yeah,
was.
I understand what you're saying, but
Yeah.
we're not amending it for mayors in the future. So I get what
no,
you're saying.
correct,
that
because the
you're
next
saying
guy
we
might not
can't-
want to have anything to do with the Wood Park.
Practically removing Ray personally from it, we don't have a better option no matter who it is. I don't think. For the money, who's gonna come in and make whatever, $18 an hour to,
I think that's the hard thing that I struggle with is that we didn't post the job. We didn't see if anyone.
It's
was
not a job.
interested.
We eliminated the position. It's
Before,
assumed to be
like, when we
the
eliminated
duties.
it. We didn't post it and I don't think we went to Warren County with any different ideas. And I'm just thinking that maybe that's something that we should, cause it is to do events, you know? And you're lovely. I'm not saying that you're not. I'm just saying that as far as events go, there are professionals that they've been trained in that. And why don't we approach Warren County and ask, could we potentially up that to employ a professional?
I think the issue is for 35,000 a year, you're gonna get what you paid for on that end of it on.
But asking
Yeah.
Warren County
Yeah,
to
no,
increase it
yeah.
more than 35.
Absolutely, and it's, I listen to all sides, I listen to Marissa's side, I listen to everyone
Yeah.
on this, because 2 years, one mouth, figure something out here. It looks weird on paper, because our former mayor was paid 40,000 back in 2001, and last year we raised it another 10,000 after 23 years. What's the website, the amortization.org site, 40 grand. Back in 2001 was worth over $72,000 in today's dollar. In today's dollar, 50,000 is just 50,000. And I do agree with what you're saying. When you take a job and you agree to it, you took that job. The job isn't what, from at least when I'm not gonna speak for you, and I apologize for speaking up on this.
Go ahead.
And I say it again, I don't like speaking out, especially if you can't defend yourself, so it's not gonna be a, being on the former mayor time, because I don't think that's fair either. I think he did a heck of a job for longer than I've been on this planet, and I think we all have to realize that, but I'll be very straightforward. And from 2001, 2024, whenever this raise happened, a lot of rust set in throughout this village, and I just saw it firsthand, whether it's our telephone systems running a home version that's 20 years old, the Microsoft Office, run our offices, our securities, our cameras, everything down the line. I accept that it's a part-time job for myself because I can walk away from this and defer everything to the mayor and so on. It's not a part-time job by any means. You know, this year we're working with a $7 million budget. Over the next couple of years, it gets raised to over 10 million because of DRI projects that we have going on. It's CEO work and you get what you pay for, and we can't let someone do this as a part-time, 1 foot in, 1 foot out, when it's literally my livelihood as a business owner, my livelihood as a resident, and so on down the line. You know, and it really is a weird gray area. And the gray area began when we lost the longest serving mayor in American history and the transfer. This has never happened before. This is a gray area. There's no right or wrong. And honestly, Marissa questioning it and people questioning, that's a good thing. You should never be a fan of politics. You should always question. I'm a fan of the Yankees. They can do no wrong. And the Jets, unfortunately. But when it comes to politics, you shouldn't be a fan. You should always question. And I think it should be said, it's appreciated that people show up and ask questions. Yeah, it gets uncomfortable at times, but that's life. That's part of being adults. We live in an 1,800 roughly person voting village here. It's good that we could talk like this without screaming, shouting. We could do better than what we see nationally. And that's what's happening here right now. Allison brought it up, and she's correct. This isn't a referendum that now and forever, this job is gonna pay X amount of dollars. Because we're gonna have to do a lot of work over this next year and really have hard talks on these things, because everything that we do is public. You know, I know how much you make, it's all public. But I also look at the work, and I'm proud that in the past couple of years between DRI, which isn't just one person, it's a heavy haul throughout. But certain people took leads and did a lot of work. And it's not part-time work, it really isn't, and the village deserves full-time minds on it. You know, we're full-time residents, we all are. And I think as far as the governance goes, in a way, you know, you're full-time. I think about it 7 days a week, the job that we do here, and I know you do. So that's my little bit of it. I have no personal quarrel with anyone. I just think that we should, the job is what it is. If that's the agreement, vis-a-vis the 35,000 or so, and you want to share 5,000 with Debney in that stance, have at it. But I don't have an issue with the pay for it. I know where the work is going, and I see where the work is going. And let's be reminded, these next couple of years, we have $10 million of state money, but that's mom's money, being spread throughout the village. And we need a steady captain for this transition, because we're transitioning from the 1950s Keys Lake George into a modern day Lake George. And there's parts of it that I want to maintain. I want to maintain the cleanliness, the environmentalism, the noise levels. And there's a lot that I want to do here, and I'd like to do it under steady footing. And I think that our mayor is earning this money, this commensurate to, again, $72,550 back in 1991. You know, so that's it. I'm sorry, I talked myself into circles.
Peter, you had your hand up?
Yeah, some don't know, I chaired the Schenectady County Legislature for a couple of years, and I was on the board for 8 years and city council for 2. And it seems more like this is a stopgap measure. All honesty, I'm not a big fan of raises for elected officials, but paying them commensurately for what they do is a different story. And when I look at a city of Schenectady and 50-some thousand people, and the mayor's making $130,000 or 120, whatever he's making, and the county manager for Schenectady County is 190 or so. And people say, oh, the village of Lake George, and one thing that struck me since I've been up here in the last 4 years this month is that, you know, we're a sleepy little village in town, but then it blows up for 5 months of the year. And we just become this juggernaut of economics and all the folks who come in, 1 million people or so are coming through. You know, we're not a small business by any means. And I'll say to Ray's point, and Jose said, you get what you pay for. Whether this is something that is taking those OCTAC dollars and applying it maybe for the next year or so. But honestly, I think you should be considering, this position. I thought this was like a 5/8 time position or so at $50,000. And the town of Niskayuna used to have that at $57,000. And then they kept it there, but they expect the town supervisor to be full-time. Town of Glenville was part-time at $35,000, and they went up to $95,000 to $98,000. But municipalities these days are just, they're not what they were many years ago. They're such more complex, the budgets are blown way up. But to have quality full-time people, you need commensurate salaries, and whether the discussion tonight is about, sounds like a stopgap measure for funds that were in place for Mayor Bob to do what he's doing, now he's not. And so who's the lead person in the village who knows the most about what's going on? Most likely it's the mayor to do that, but I think you should be considering something in the future of a salary with the mayor's position. I don't know what the council members make, but it's a, you know, $7 to $8 million operation business that's being run every year. And who wants to run for office to do full-time for $50,000 a year? You're not gonna do it. You're also not gonna get the best qualified candidates to run that business. So it's a tough decision always. But it's amazing. And I've said this before, just watching the events that go on at night here or all day. Then you get up at 7 o'clock in the morning, our streets are as clean as can be. You never knew something happened the night before. The roads, the infrastructure here, I think infrastructure, what scares the hell out of me is just the protection around the lake, as you're all talking about infrastructure and having, you know, what the surplus looks like. Having those funds available as we get voted Queens Lake in the country all the time. What are we gonna do when all of a sudden it's falling apart? And, you know, go to the EPA, look for some funds that are out there right now that I want to talk to you about, because I think there's opportunity that we should be going to the EPA to get this lake protected. Whether it's something we do with all the towns that surround the lake and look for some real infrastructure funds of how that happens. But for this, it's just, there's a lot of good stuff that goes on here, but you can see that the village and the town is feeling its age in some places. So, you know, with this, the OCTAC, it's I like Marissa's question, is the sales tax, is this the people's dollars or the, or not? And occupancy tax is coming in from the out of towns, which is fabulous.
You know,
money to
do
get.
you mind if I interrupt you?
Yeah, have at it.
I just want to riff off of what Peter said. How is the job designated? Like, for instance, my job is any and all-time job or a part-time job. Is your job designated as a full-time job?
Yes,
And it is.
has been since 2001.
2001, so maybe there's your justification. And your board members are part-timers?
Yeah. I mean, it's been that way. It's not a new argument.
Is there a description in the charter of what your duties are, of what the mayor's?
They
duties
don't have a description for it. It's basically, they don't, and the charter doesn't have one. Not, you won't find anything. And we talked about this when we discussed the position of the director of special events. It's assumed that, like you said, who better to do it, or who has command over the DPW and the street department, and you want to go to the buck stops here, basically, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, you're essentially the person on the ground that covers all departments. You know, if you
24/7.
allocate some of this money, I mean, is there somebody that works for the village who knows as much as the mayor's position does on the day-to-day activities of what goes on here?
I know a little bit about everything. There's
Right.
specific, experts, but I know enough to be dangerous in every department.
And they hired an events coordinator down in Schenectady, they did that, and they hired a public relations person
Mhm.
for the county. It's like, the public officials are the public relations people, they're accountable. They have public relations people. That's when your budgets get bloated. But I think they're paying 85, 90,000 for special events coordinator, massive budgets. It's like,
So you're of the opinion that the mayor of the village of Lake George should also be the ones that handle special events? And that should be something that we write
yes.
in
that-
permanently.
Special events in Lake George is not like special events in the city of Schenectady. We're a tourist destination.
Mhm.
You know, Schenectady has this big thing that we spend like $90,000 on the summer night that they do. But people aren't going to Schenectady as a tourist attraction. I mean,
You got the college,
this
you got
is
other stuff.
almost like a real department as important as public works is on safety and fire and.
It's different.
To me, for what we are, and it's borne out by the fact that, you know, from May to October, we see all these events come in. Special events and tourism, that's a massive department in my estimation when we look at Lake George. It's not in the city of Schenectady,
No.
the town of Muskegon, the town of Glenville, but it is for this.
So I think you're touching on that part that like makes me feel uncomfortable is that it feels like this raise is temporary and then in 2 years, like, or when it goes, that occupancy tax goes away, what happens? Like, if say like Ray runs again and someone else runs against him, and then we have put in place that is that mayor running as also the special events director, or are they just running just to run the village government? So like, we don't really have that, like, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but we don't have that written out. So I feel like we could get ourselves in trouble again if we, not that I'm saying that you wouldn't be mayor again, but if we got a new mayor again and then they didn't want to do that aspect, then what do we do? So like, that's why I feel like this is, and then we've gotten into trouble since I think Bob had stopped doing it because we've just been like, what do we do? How do we do this? It really should be more set in stone, especially like, I think right now in our village law, like no new mayor can get health insurance. So we're saying that it's a full-time position, but then the next person that does it can't have health insurance.
I don't think our village law says it's trustees that we're.
It says new mayors as well. We didn't abolish that when we first came in. We basically said, because you were a trustee and that you've changed your position to mayor, that like you can continue your health insurance.
Oh, it's
But if-
not a gap in
Right.
employment,
But so
right?
it says new mayors are not allowed health insurance. So it feels very much like if we're increasing the
That's pretty mean.
salary. Well, I like saying it's right now, we're saying, oh, no, this is only temporary and we're doing it for 1 year, we're doing it for 2 years for while you're in office. And then what happens? What position are we in? If we're saying this person is head of something, are we increasing it for? ever
That's up,
for
it's
time?
that's
ultimately
up
up
to
to
the next
us
guy and it's up to
figure
the
out.
village board to figure out.
It's up to
Right.
us.
So I don't need to make a
County,
determination
yeah.
about something that hasn't happened yet. You know what I mean? I don't feel the need to, like, I plan on doing this because I want to see it done right.
So are we
Um,
saying that basically the next election for mayor, that person would essentially be running for 50,000? And then it's up to them if they want to also take on more for special events, or they would have to look into like hiring somebody.
It's kind of up to
Probably
the
define
county.
that first.
It's kind of up to the county.
Say it again?
I was in, us as the village, if it comes down to what the mayor gets paid and it turns into a salary, you know, all-inclusive thing,
Mhm.
that's up to us to decide, hopefully before the next election, so we don't run into this problem again.
Right, that's what I'm like.
Yeah, yeah,
that's why
exactly.
I'm
I'm
like,
agreeing,
well,
I'm
let's
agreeing.
It's also
figure
up to
it
the
out.
county.
Let's
Yeah.
talk
If
about
the-
it.
if
I'm
the
agreeing.
County doesn't like or doesn't see the new person, the next guy, whatever, or girl, fit to do it, has no experience in it, then, that's gonna be a problem for another time. That's gonna be a county decision and a village board decision.
Well, I
That's
think
how-
what you're saying is that
That's how-
because the village is so special, that the mayor, the person running it all, deserves a higher salary because it's such a tough job, because it involves special events.
Oh, I think this salary warrant, I think this position warrants a higher salary, for sure.
So, I mean, that's, I'm saying that we're saying it's just temporary, because in our village law, it says only 40,000.
Yeah, but-
It's a way for us to make it easier on our
We
budget.
have to, we took that out actually in the, it should be out.
Lawyers can work out to say, listen, in every year, $30,000 to $35,000 for my tax comes from the county to from the town and the county comes to the village, and you guys just take that money and apply it to the mayor's salary. Then you're minimizing your impact on your overall budget, and it's just, but I would defer back to council of how they structure that to make sure you're doing it legally and all the right way.
I feel like we don't have anything like set in place as far as like mayor description. Maybe that's the,
You're not, we were advised not to by our council.
oh.
Freedom is good.
Donnie, I saw you had your hand up. Do you have anything? Okay.
So could we change that then as far as, if we're saying that this is, mayor is a full-time job, it's this big of importance that we actually do change it so future mayors can accept the health insurance?
I think that's some housekeeping that we should do. I would like the trustees to have access to the health insurance, and that's gonna screw our budget up big time if we implement that now, but I wouldn't be opposed to trying to find the money in the budget to include the, I mean, there's only one trustee left that is, in the program, just because, well, we're old, Joe.
Yeah.
That's grandfathered in, so I would welcome the, trustees to be able to take advantage of the health insurance at the 20% contribution that I do now, and any other employee does. I mean, we're looking at, what, if it's 3 families, what's it, 70? And if, you know, I wouldn't allow the trustees to take a payout by not taking it. The stipend, but I would love for the trustees to be able to take advantage of the health insurance. It's another perk. You're only getting 9,000 a year. Town board members get 20. And Marissa, would you mind sharing what the contribution is for health insurance as a town board member? I mean, there's be different levels of family.
Take health insurance.
Okay,
But I
but
was just
do you,
asking Marissa, so the next, whoever's the mayor next after you does not get health insurance?
that's how it's written currently. It was all electeds. It was all electeds at that when we changed the law. So it wasn't,
Mayoral
didn't,
Position?
yeah.
Yeah, that's why
Our
I'd like to
government.
change it,
Oh, gosh.
if we're saying
Yeah,
that this is.
I think, but I'm thinking while we do, we're gonna take money out of entire local laws in the village.
It's a big contribution, but that's a Jen question.
It is a big contribution by the town,
By
or,
town.
yeah,
Like
okay.
maybe-
I know Vinny said it was tiered based
Yes.
on whether your ours is just, you know, cost 20%. Employee contribution, but, let's think about that.
I gotta go, my new granddaughter just came up.
Oh, cool.
Actually, I want to come down and just compliment, since Marissa nominated me for the planning board last year, but, what a great job Dan Baruch does,
Yeah.
and just for somebody who goes back and forth from town and village, just, you got a gem with what he does, and got nice compliments from some folks who've been to these other conferences, and when we did a Lake Placid conference, what compliments came down, he did a hell of a presentation, and, these planning and zoning folks that were down at one of the conferences, from last year, and you hear it again, what a great job he does. So, I wanted to come down and convey that.
Thank you, Peter.
Yeah.
All right, I think we beat that horse to death.
Not really, but
Do we want to think about the offering of the health insurance to the trustees? And come back and,
I mean, that's a significant amount that's gonna really change this budget. Is that? Cause what, that's, where are you gonna find that? money?
I don't know.
Well,
Right,
I'm
that's
just
what I'm
saying,
wondering.
it's up to you guys. I know you had expressed interest in it before.
Well, you got it in your fund balance,
We do have it in our fund balance, so we could do the first year
right?
in the fund balance.
Fund
Well, I
balance,
want
come
us to-
on.
I don't want us to have that big of a fund balance. It makes me extremely uncomfortable.
Well, when you see the size of the projects we got
Municipalities.
down the line, that I think we should be using it on,
Mhm.
you're gonna wish we had more in our fund balance.
I'm also just wondering if we could change the process of how we're doing the budget next year, where instead of this workshop and public hearing at the same time, that we have multiple budget workshops that are open to the public. I feel like multiple people have said that they don't know what's happening with the budget. It hasn't been posted yet.
It'll be posted
After, yeah, but
tomorrow.
I just feel that.
There was
We
just so
will
much
not
with,
post it. We will leave copies in the upstairs office if anybody wants to look at these public hearing
Because
copies.
it hasn't been approved yet.
It will not be posted until it's board approved.
So we can't post a tentative budget for residents to look over. They have to physically come up to the
Right there.
office to get it.
That's correct.
Is there a reason why in this like day, if
Well, yeah, because I think there's so many people that'll say, wait, I changed just today. The budget changed 5 times from your suggestions.
right,
So how many times in one day do I have to post a new budget? 5 times?
okay,
Every time that budget changes as a tentative budget, you want the public updated, am I correct? If you're gonna start updating them once, you gotta keep doing it round the
Yeah.
clock.
and the town doesn't do that either. They put their budget out on the counter at the town office. If somebody wants to look at it, they go look at it.
And when it's adopted,
Once it's adopted, right?
Passed.
We're elected to
we will
adopt
give
budget.
anybody
That's why
a
people
copy,
put their
we will
faith in us
post it, we will
To
do
elect
whatever.
us to this position, to give them a healthy budget.
It
and a
just changes
robust budget.
so many times.
We don't need to have an election every time we want to vote on something. So there's no point in having, checking with our constituents saying, are we doing okay? Are we doing okay? No, they paid us, or they elected us to do this job, to put a budget together.
I just find that, it's so complicated to have, and just hear me out, to like say, today's the public hearing, and for someone to get it today and look through it, and then to be able to have comments over it, I feel like that's really tough. Like it would seem, and especially like if they're trying to get a physical copy and the hours are only from this time to this time, and you have a working individual, how can they grab it? That is just, that's challenging. I want us to be, I understand what you guys are saying, but I would love us to be more transparent on the budget. And that's just my opinion. That's why I'm saying, like, what if we did more workshops where we can talk about it? Public can come to those workshops. We could say this was the budget as of this date, summarize the changes that were made. It seems fair for the
Do you
public.
guys take public comment at the town budget workshops?
Yes, we do.
How many do you have?
We have at least a couple, 2, sometimes 3, depends. But it's true, Renee's correct, these things can change. Like
Right.
tonight, you could have made a decision to do something with your health insurance, and boom, that changes everything. She's gotta go back to the drawing board. So yes, it does, it can change. On the other hand, it is a public document, so that's the way it's presented.
It's a public document and it's for the public. It's a public hearing.
They
Um,
can for FOIL request.
Mhm.
They can FOIL request
yeah, now that it's been discussed, if they want to foil it, or you know what? To be fair to the residents, I wouldn't make them foil. I wouldn't do it as personally myself. I
Yeah.
would not make them pay for a foil copy of a tentative.
Well, if they wanted it transmitted electronically, if they FOIL requested it and I translated electronically, it's not,
Mm.
they don't have to pay for copies.
Mhm.
Or they can come in and view it at any time. It's in the,
My only thing is how many times this workshop or public hearing, tentative budget, whatever you want to call it, has gone back to the mayor as the budget officer, changed from opinion, from your questions
Mhm.
in both expenses and revenue.
Yeah.
I mean, it's constantly trying to balance it. Once it's balanced now, then it's changing again, and then it's altering, and it's just a lot.
Yeah, I just know that when I read online as far as village laws, that once it's made available as a tentative budget to the board, then it can become available to all public.
It is available.
It is.
Was I
We've
want
made it available. It's right
Only for-
there.
physically. so-
Well,
Okay.
it doesn't state in law physically.
No,
or
it
how.
doesn't. That's why I was just saying, but in this day and age, as far as like,
Or you could make a
Everyone does
request to get it digitally, right? That was another
Yeah,
topic. So like people who want to be involved
right, and I
are
think,
here. Really.
and online too, couple.
yeah.
And if the village board wanted that, Julie certainly could do that. I could do that.
Mhm.
But there would be stipulations, like you get one budget a week, or you get one budget every 4 days. If there's changes.
Okay.
Yeah, and once it gets out there and it's changed, what's out there is considered misinformation.
Yes.
But that's why I was,
It's gonna be a dated copy.
yeah, that's why
Yeah.
I put dated, but that's why it's almost like better that it's online versus like a physical hard copy, because you can update it so frequently. Right? Versus
Yeah, have
like
it be a
the-
live document or a living
Yeah,
document on
they-
it.
Right, like if there's a, like I'm saying, if we could have a certain point where we're saying this is the,
Julie, do you post your minutes online for public viewing prior to board approval at the board meeting? No. There you go. Because something is going to change. She may have typed something wrong. This board has decided, wait a minute, I don't like that resolution. I wasn't here that night. There may be an error. Then it's posted out there, then it's reposted. Once it's approved by the board, it's posted online and digitally available to whoever wants. Okay. If the board wants to change that rule, everything can be changed.
Sign that, I read contract.
Maybe have some kind of post on the website that says if you want a current copy of our working budget, send us an email.
I believe our
Just get
ad
that.
states that there's copies available.
Yeah.
No.
It's just people that want to pay attention are gonna know.
There you
No, I
go.
thought that
It's
was
hard.
part of
People
it.
don't care.
I've had a lot of people ask me for the budget, so that's why I bring it up.
They're welcome here
Good
tonight.
answer.
Right?
This is what the mayor has opened this up to.
No, I know, I just. Prior.
Okay, is there any other thoughts, questions? Keith, you got anything for us?
So what are we doing with the budget?
Oh, I would,
Or are
I'm
we-
gonna adjourn.
What,
And-
have we made a decision on the tires?
I'm sorry?
Have we made a decision on?
Oh, the tires,
Did-
yeah.
Did you guys send, I have a question. Did you send the, she had requested?
Yep, he sent it the next
Okay.
day. I read through it. sent
Yeah,
an
he did.
email
He sent
back.
the
I just
thing.
didn't see it.
Yeah.
I was wondering if we could get someone who, like, they used to be called Arrowhead Equipment. I forget what it's called now. Like someone who could specialize in inspect the tires and see if, do we want to bother doing this or are we gonna, throw good money after bad?
Well, what are we doing with the fire truck once, the new one comes?
We'll sell it to the highest bidder.
So I think new tires on there would only increase the value of it, yes, to for resale?
I'm not sure what.
To a degree.
Yeah, to a degree.
Not 100%.
The article,
Go ahead, sorry. No, go ahead.
the article that John gave me, it really sounds like it's an issue of safety. And that if we're having tires that are on there for that long, that are that old, you could potentially put the fire team at risk or even people of the public may not being able to get a fire truck to them. So like it's an expense, but it's like a safety expense. It seems warranted.
The tires have a shelf life, if you will.
Yeah.
And DOT going down the highway, the bigger truck, they look at 10 years for being appropriate to run. The agencies that help monitor the fire service require 7 years. Going to somebody else, they're just gonna look at the date, just like anybody
Right.
can look at the date and say. And the company is actually last Tuesday approved a loan to purchase the tires for it and keep it into service. And it's already done on that truck.
No, what are we talking about then? I guess the decision's been made out on the tires.
We're getting tires.
Sounds like it's done.
Yeah,
I mean, I did ask it that night.
you did.
And the decision was to either equip it with tires or take it out of service.
Right, then we can't take it out of service.
Okay, that's what I wanted
Easy.
to know, figure out. So that's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, it's the easy button there.
And Donnie ordered the communication board. Right.
She snuck out.
Yes, yes, I have to reimburse, she wants us to reimburse
The
the,
company.
her, yeah, the fire. company.
Yeah. Okay. Keith, do you have anything?
Last week, Julie and I put together, the initial, forms for the, second chance people, for the bathrooms and all that, going into this season. Of course, we've got, quite a few more employees, full-time employees than we've had in the past, so I was able to, I worked with John on that as well, John Helms, to, basically cut that cost in half. I know we use, Octax, to pay for the second chance.
If it's contractual, we can, yes.
If it's contractual, yeah. And, so we've got it down to like $32,000 with the schedule that we put together.
That's great.
And so I just wanted to bring that to the board.
It was like 80 last year.
Yeah, it was maybe a little bit more.
Yeah.
And, with having our personnel, more available as well, we shouldn't have any overlay as far as, additional work that we've had to do in the past. And because that's extremely, expensive from the state, so we're gonna see what they come back with. Hopefully this week I'll get some kind of respond back, and we'll see where it's at.
Okay. Tim, you got anything?
Another vacancy opened up at this wastewater treatment plant. I noticed, hire, a month and just called me out of the blue on last Tuesday night. And said he's not coming back. So
Do we do exit interviews at all?
He tried to.
Tried to, he just said-
He called him.
Yeah, because I know that we've implemented a lot of things here for employee retention. So I don't know if that would be try to do it. Yeah, I would imagine it'd be for a worse position.
Generally don't have anybody. Because work, they say help with that.
Okay.
I'm not sure. But just that was the box.
Mm.
And I posted the job last Thursday and I have one applicants.
Still using Indeed.
Are you boosting it, paying?
That's probably why.
I posted a job and got no applicants. I paid the recommended amount and got 25 in the next like 3 hours.
It's the gimmick, follow the money.
With a good 25.
Half of them.
It's just. Oh, we'll have to take a motion to adjourn the budget hearing to the April 21st meeting. Keep it in mind and think about the trustees. We could do a budget transfer for the first year and then budget into next year. But give it some thought. Since we're cleaning up some local laws.
I would just ask also, since it's going to be adjourned until the 21st, if we could, if there's going to be 1,000 or you want to do whatever, if there's going to be a workshop, there's going to be more changes, several changes,
Mhm.
such as today. Can we maybe do it by like the 15th or 16th? So I can get it into final
Form.
form
Yeah.
again?
Yeah,
If
so
there are
with
gonna
this-
be changes.
with a hard stop at the 16th of,
I mean, I know, I mean,
By
that
noon.
that gives another 10 days. Is that good, Allison?
I think it's fair.
Okay.
Okay, that was a motion, Allison? Sure it was, and
Yeah.
a second by trustee Joe. All those in favor, say aye. I'm gonna ask Jim right now, Jim and John, you guys got anything that you wanted to bring? Yeah, you do, don't you?
The second half of the tire issue is that they also approved the replacement of the tires for the small brush truck that we have. That'll be happening sometime this week, and I can coordinate drivers to do so.
Yeah, I think that was a no-brainer though, wasn't it? That's not going anywhere, the brush truck.
Being going and.
You're not selling,
being sold.
Yeah, yeah. right?
The other issue I'd like to bring forward, listening tonight about events and closing of streets and now that I'm here for a second time, it's kind of my goal to address some of the issues that they bring forward. I think it was last year during the tow truck show where they had also closed down that area that this guy was talking about.
Oh, yeah, yeah, they had like some kind of scale or some giant scale to weigh vehicles.
And there was the Woods Park is difficult to get into as it is, but to intentionally block everything, so that there is absolutely no way to get in without walking in. It's, I think we need to think about those things in the future and perhaps make it a part of the application process that they consider how things will be taken care of if there's an issue before just closing everything down. And that kind of goes over into the block party on Canada Street also for the Oktoberfest. And I think there's another time where that area is closed down. This year, we addressed it with the Hudson Valley Firemen's Association. The problem that's created there when that whole block is shut down is access to all the buildings on Main Street, with the rides and stuff set up for Oktoberfest. Once again, there's no way to get to the Main Street side of those structures down through there. And the Hudson Valley Association has agreed to provide a fire lane probably on the shoulder next to the curb, next to those buildings. So if in fact we can take and provide an opportunity to make sure they address those things and or assume responsibility of such that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a concern. I mean, the kind of, I guess, one of the good things is the way John Carr sets it up is you could needle around, with like an ambulance, but not with a big truck.
Or if we needed to perform operations.
Yeah. Okay, duly noted.
Chief question.
Yeah.
Chief, have you worked out a schedule yet, for the training at the rec fields?
We're hoping to get into, the bigger apparatus, flowing bigger, flows in May and June. If the place is caught up, or if they've, provided that hygiene water down to the bottom.
Yeah, I believe Chris, Buckley, was approaching that project, and I'm not sure where it is right this minute. But you can probably try to hammer him down this week and get some answers.
And if that doesn't get done, then we'd be operating big flows on the village water system and, in the village or somewhere in the hydrant district.
Wasting perfectly drinkable water.
Well.
Use the rec center, that stuff you can't drink.
Very well.
Yeah, so I'll keep in the loop in the next week. There's maybe this one.
Very well. That's all I have.
Okay,
Thank you.
thanks, Chief. Trustee Mentor, do you have anything you'd like to discuss with the board?
No, happy to be here.
Happy to have you. Trustee Mastro Domenico, do you have anything you'd like to discuss with the board?
Nope, everything is good right now. We're gonna start getting into the busy season.
You see two of me or one?
A little hazy, but
Yeah,
I
late in
can
the
see
day
it.
too.
Yeah.
Trustee Miller?
No, do we have to, swear Mike in?
You did,
I did.
yeah,
Before?
right before you got here.
Okay.
That's it?
Yeah, not to beat a dead horse, I know Warren County doesn't like the idea of using the, former correctional officers as peace officers on the streets.
Mhm.
Have we put any thought of using, because they're sworn peace officers, of using them as, Marine Patrol? We're always short on those, on the water.
We could mention it to the park commission or Sheriff LaFar.
Yeah, it's just-
Would that be like an extra person on the patrol boat?
Yeah, because
Or-
we're talking about before the issues with the canoes and so on, the personal watercraft in the South Bay. We have
Totally.
2,000 sworn peace officers trained. We have
That'll
boats
work.
just sitting there empty. We could patrol our waters, make it better. There's a lot of these idiots.
I know.
I use a very highly functional word, they're idiots. That they're literally making it unsafe from everyone to boat in the South Bay. I personally, I go out twice a year because I don't like taking my boat off the dock, because it's bad.
Yep.
And if we have the peace officers there who want to work, put them on a boat and use them. I don't, so that's something I guess we could reach out to the county about.
Yeah, we could reach out to the county about it. I don't think the state's gonna help us or can.
No.
Maybe we pick up a boat and just have the Lake George Village Marine Patrol
Add another authority to the water.
and
I like
another
it.
authority.
We could borrow their family boat for that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Marissa's got a boat. We could use that one.
I have more than one.
You can have a fleet,
Perfect.
an armada, if you will. Well, I guess that's it. You good, Julie? You good, Danae?
I am.
Since Danae said I am, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So
So ordered.
You're not allowed to say so. but
Allison,
that's-
do you want to?
Sure you are.
Nobody